Hey guys, we're live. We're live for our usual Sunday night webinar. We usually just come and have a bit of a yarn, bit of a chat, and then depending on how we go, we kind of like feel do the do the you know webinar and stuff, and just kind of like if we don't get a lot of people asking questions, then we sort of just have an early one. It just depends. Um, time. But so I hope you guys are having a good week and having a good weekend. Cool, although it's almost over. Um, but yeah, it's just. I mean, I just can't believe it. It's like October. We're mid-October, just about. Well, we are mid-October exactly. October, yeah, and we just almost finished 2023. It's absolutely nuts. I can't believe it. This year has just gone like that. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has. Like you said, it's going to be Christmas soon. I mean, I think we just had Friday the 13th. I don't know. Was that when's Halloween? The end of the month, is it? End of the month. There's always
not sure.
Halloween, and because at the shops they've got all the Halloween stuff out at the moment, and of course Christmas stuff at the same time as Halloween. So yeah, no,
It's the end of the month.
there's been a
Yeah.
lot going on because I think last week we had that basically that new war started. And then
Yeah, it's
at the
crazy.
moment, the prices, there's always a consequence. And at the moment, we're only seeing like $2.15 on our fuel prices at the moment. But I sort of anticipated that they were going to go. I reckon they're going to go $3 to $4. That's right. In here within I don't know 6 to 12 months, and they're going to blame it on the war, just like they did. The fuel prices when Ukraine. They said, oh, diesel prices and all that sort of stuff are up because of the war. I mean, it's really because they're printing money, but this particular instance might be to increasing fuel prices because they might cut off supply because this event has some of these events have happened before where the prices have went up. So it'd be interesting to see if fuel goes up because that'll have effects on the economy and actually really increase the inflation will go through the roof. So yeah, it's pretty crazy what's happened in the last week.
Yeah, the cost of living is just crazy. It's just really. I mean, we talked about this last week. The cost of living is just absolutely nuts in Australia, and I know it's pretty well fucking shit everywhere else. Obviously, in America, people are living in their cars, and even Thailand's gone. The cost of living's gone up here, not a lot. Uh, OFJ, I think that's Oliver, says, "G'day, fellas. How you going, Oliver? I
Hey,
hope
how you
you're
doing?
going well." Um, yeah, it's just the cost of living just really just grinding away, and it's like putting yeah, it's just grinding away. It's just grinding everything away, and it's just making it hard for people because everything's going up, and our wages aren't going up, and our rent keeps going up. Everything keeps going up. So what do you do?
Hmm.
So what have I been doing? I haven't been doing much. I was just sent into the garden today, and I was just mucking around. I was given some orders to cut down a tree. So I'll give you a little life lesson. I'll make it short. Um, so Mrs. says here, go chop that down, and I'm like, oh, we haven't got anything to chop it down. The trunk is like this. It's massive. We've only got like little hand saws, and they're not meant to chop a tree down. So I go and pick one of the branches, and one of the branches is still about that thick. So it's still pretty
Yeah.
thick. So so I get the saw and I'm sawing away and I'm sawing away. Um, so eventually, because I'm so unfit, I'm just like, oh, I had to stop, stop, and then keep going. So eventually, I get it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is really interesting because eventually you've got to. Eventually, I got this thing, but when I first looked at it, I thought, there's no fucking way I'm going to get this thing. It's going to take forever. So it only took me 10 minutes, but um, you just gnaw away at it. You just keep on gnawing away. It took a break, minute, then just keep going back to it. Took a minute. It took me forever, but it eventually just went. And you would that timber thing, timber. So I'm here and I'm yelling timber, and the kids are in the TV room. They're looking because they don't fucking understand what the hell I'm saying. And this tree goes, Anyway, long story short, I cut it up and dragged it away, and that was my little deed for the day. Sweating like a pig, and then had a shower because it delivered all that sappy shit off all over you.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, nature teaches a lot of things to us, and even though we want things to happen fast, it just doesn't happen that way. And here we are on the planet, we're just screwing everything over, and one day we might be here. Well, it's a guarantee that we won't be here, but humanity mightn't be here one day. But nature still will be. So we can take a lot of the lessons and everything that we can learn from everything that we need to learn from to advance. They've already been written, and you can turn to nature and see this sort of stuff and go, that's interesting. When I think about it that way, you can learn a lot from just that. Just cutting down a tree can learn. Even though I knew that, it's just a it's like speeding something up and getting a life lesson like within 10 minutes. That's what it taught me. And I thought, I already know this stuff, but I thought that's really interesting. So you cut down a tree. It takes you a while, but you eventually get there. Just like conquering a mountain, just like anything else. So the cost of living's up at the moment. It's like killing people, but eventually, I don't know. Hopefully, things will get better, and you'll be able to recover, or I don't know what happens. I can't remember the last time. What did we do when everything went up? Like we just adjusted.
Well, I don't remember. Like they had that GFC back in 2008 or whatever.
Yeah,
and really, personally, I don't remember the impact of that on me personally back then. Hold on a second.
Yeah, well, I didn't have. I didn't really. Well, I didn't have a house. I didn't have a mortgage under a house, so it didn't really affect me then because of the loans and stuff. But I know definitely I had a business, and it definitely affected me because the business that I had, my outgoings were probably 20 grand a month. So when the GFC came, the products that I was selling, literally it was like my outgoings are 20,000 a month, and my incomings were probably anywhere from 50 to 100 grand a month. So things were ticking over nicely. They were like, yeah, okay, I got to pay a shitload out, but then again, the business was like pumping. So it was like, fuck it, money in, money out, right? You don't give a shit. But when it stops, when the GFC came, it was like turning a tap off. It's like, what the hell's going on? We're not making any money. And then all of a sudden, when you stop making money, those expenses, you still got to pay 20 grand. You still got to pay wages and I feel sorry for those businesses that were those small businesses because they literally just closed down when the GFC came.
Yeah, that's and it would have been like that with COVID. I mean, I haven't looked at the statistics, but I reckon there would have been so many businesses lost, and so many people went to the wall with COVID back when 3 years ago now. So yeah, and it still has ramifications. So, but I don't know exactly what will happen. But I mean, I saw something about Argentina today. Argentina just raised their interest rates, and I think they were like at 113%.
Oh, they can't even feed themselves. Feel sorry for those bastards.
Yeah. 2 out of 5 people are in poverty over there right now. So they actually have an inflation that the inflation rate for the year expected is 118% inflation for the year.
That's crazy.
So I mean, but the problem is every few months there's like a new country that we're talking about, that has this problem, and sooner or later it's going to hit a bigger country. And Australia's not really that big. I wouldn't be surprised if it sort of happens to Australia because at the end of the day, this sort of stuff happens and it just happens slowly, and then bang, and then there's just nothing you can do about it. And all I can think of, all that happens is you just get poverty and you just get super rich, and the super rich basically just exploit resources like mining. I mean, they may not be able to sell to you in that country because everyone's bankrupt or gone to the wall, but they can take all the resources out of the country, they can dig it up, and then they can send it, or they can make you work for I don't know, they might change the rules, and the wages are so less now that they get you to work, and then they ship that product to another country. So I think that's what will happen. You just got to study what happens to the other countries, and it's part of our whole system. That's why it's that broken.
I think it was I don't know if it was Argentina or Colombia, but I read somewhere that these countries in South America, obviously, they're going broke because of inflation. Like, they're getting smashed. It's what happened with Greece. It's what happened with in Lebanon. They couldn't withdraw their money. Banks stopped. But I think it's Colombia. This new president might have, no, I don't know if it's Colombia, but basically they got this new president that wants to actually flip to the USD. So the national currency would actually be USD. And I thought for a second, wow, that's interesting. That makes sense, because if they're running under the USD dollar, they're never going to have an inflation problem. I mean, well, they're going to have the value of the dollar won't drop, because they're based off USD. So I'm thinking, I don't know why do they do it? Why don't they just do it? So that's interesting. These companies, or they should just put a shitload of Bitcoin. Ova says China bank run also currently is China's gone broke. They've got massive problems over there. They're trying to hide it. We saw this bank problem probably 6 months ago, and it's still continuing to happen, but they're just kind of like keeping it under the wraps. So yeah, China is screwed. They're investing in Africa, and they're looking at they're building these missiles that actually can take down a carrier. Obviously, in case the war comes with Taiwan. So I don't know. Maybe they might just want to. Maybe they might have no choice but to invade Taiwan, just for the fact that they need the resources and the chips. Who knows? But here's an interesting thing that I found with all the shit that's happening in the this is crypto related. This is a topic post I saw with Michael Saylor, right? What he's talking about is Bitcoin. This is Riot. It's like a publicly traded company.
I think we talked about Riot a while back.
Yeah, well, they keep on getting these raises. They always have these series raises, and that's how they hide up. That's how they hide their profit, because a lot of these companies are going broke. But anyway, have a look at this thing. This thing is massive. You can actually buy Riot. You can actually buy the stock. It's a publicly traded company.
Welcome back to the Riot Report. Today, our team will be taking you through
this thing is
production
massive.
And operation highlights.
I haven't seen this before.
Let's get started.
Look how big that building is. That's huge.
Have a guess. Have a guess. Just have a guess how many Bitcoin machines that they have got. Just quickly, have a guess.
I don't know. 1,000,
no.
2,000,
no,
5,000, 10,000 machines.
No.
Oh my goodness.
98,000. They got 10.9 ether hash. I don't know. Ether hash.
Yeah.
Ether hash. Look how many look how many machines they got. They got nearly 100,000 Bitcoin miners.
Wow. They don't do things in halves, do they? It's just
it's crazy.
Wow.
And they're still expanding. They're still expanding. I think they're one of the biggest in America. They got 2.5 million. Oh, who knows? But it's absolutely crazy. So Bitcoin mining, right? The reason why they're still mining the shit out of Bitcoin and spending all this money and millions of dollars to set this stuff up, right? Look at the place. It's massive. It's because they can still mine it now and have the technology to optimize it. They're using immersion cooling, and they're using look at this place. It's massive.
Wow.
So what they're doing is they spend all this money, right? And they want to mine Bitcoin now because they know that if Bitcoin goes to like 200 or 300,000 one day. Oh, and mind you, they're still selling a lot of it to pay for the expenses. I think it showed here that they were, yeah, there you go. They mined 262 Bitcoin last month.
362, yep.
A shitload. Times that by 27,000. I don't know, you can do the maths. And then they sold, they had to sell a shitload. They sold 340.
Yeah.
So they made 20 Bitcoin profit.
Yep.
By the time they probably sold all that to pay for electricity and all the expenses. So if you look at 20 Bitcoin profit, I mean, that's still nothing to sneeze at. 20 Bitcoins, 600.
But the moment the price goes up, they're winning.
Oh, dude, if this thing goes to 100K, just think about it. They're basically they'll just borrow more money and just get more miners. That's what they do.
Yeah, and it's either gonna go broke or win big. Like, why should they care? Like that, it's like a gamble, really. It's wild. That is big scale.
Oh yeah, I mean, and so you can actually buy Riot stock. You can buy it off. If you've got some sort of trading account, you can buy it. You can use various. If you're in the States, you can use those different apps and stuff. There's a pretty popular ones out there. But Riot Stocks, Riot Platforms Incorporated, $9.15. So it's still down. It's not a Bitcoin chart. It is. See, so when all-time high was $71. So it's down at the moment. But this is like buying. This is like there's not just Riot. There's like probably about 4 or 5 different big ones like Riot's, very similar Bitcoin mining operations, like legit ones, right? And but you watch the minute that Bitcoin goes to like 100K, you watch the stock. This stock will just moon.
Yeah,
it'll just absolutely moon.
Yeah.
And if you look at Bitcoin now, it's down. We're 26,889, so we're down, but it did reach 28. So because there's so much shit happening right now in the world. This new war now with Israel. Yeah, that's it. Webull, Robin Hood. Yeah, those ones. That's what I was mentioning. That's what I was on the tip of my tongue. So those. So with all the shit happening now, I don't know. It's just going to be like I said, like when I was out in the garden today. I'm sawing away, and I'm never going to get this fucking tree done. But eventually it fell, and it was a heavy ass tree, the branch of it. So eventually things are going to come around. It's like people want this stuff to come around sooner, including myself. I want this stuff to come around sooner, but I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You just gotta hang in there. So that's why we do these webinars. I know sometimes it's like boring as batshit because we keep on saying the same shit. But one of these days, Bitcoin will be 100 grand, 200 grand. Hopefully, we'll get more people on this webinar. Oh my god!
They'll all flock in like they did last time. I mean, we've seen it before. People just they see it on the TV, and that's okay. But then they have to catch up, or if they don't know anything about it, they go through all the same mistakes as we've done, like years and years worth. Like someone the other day, I think lost. That's right. There's someone like lost $2 million, I think, with crypto. I was trying to think who it was, but they got scammed. I saw it in the news. It was quite. I thought, wow, okay, lost $2 million because you were scammed. Fantastic. Like they just you got to learn those lessons because at the end of the day, you're in charge of your money, right? Your Bitcoin. So you're in control of it. And the only way that you lose it is by making mistakes. And the problem is when new people come in, they make those mistakes. So unless they come out with new ways of preventing these sort of mistakes, that's the only good thing. There was something about, I think there was a new wallet release. Did you see something about that?
No, but I mean,
New hardware wallet?
very, very sketchy when it comes
Trezor?
to the Trezor one. Okay, no,
Yeah.
I did get an email, but I didn't look at it.
Yeah, I don't think I
Okay.
looked at it because that's one. I don't think.
I mean, I still
I
got the
believe
old
they've
Trezor.
got a new one out on Trezor.io. I'm just having a quick look at it now. No, it looks like the same old one.
What's it called? It's called
Trezor
Safe
Model
3.
T, Trezor Model 1. Oh, it's called Trezor Safe 3. Yeah, it looks interesting. Maybe you can put it up on the screen. Are you on there yet? I think that's it.
Okay.
You get to choose some colors.
Yeah. Ships mid-November.
So I think they did so it's a pre-order, $79. That seems pretty cheap. So I don't know the advantages because I haven't went through them yet on that. Interesting to see how they handle the seed phrases and whether they just stay the same. It looks like it's the same thing. You write down the seed phrase on a little piece of paper, and then you get it in there. So, but yeah, there must be something else with it that it can do. I mean, look, I still got my Trezor, my original one, and it still works. You know,
Yeah.
Like maybe they got some new features on it or something like that. I'm not sure.
I mean, I've still got my original Trezor, and it works perfectly. I mean, that's where I store my Bitcoin.
They've still been
any issue.
upgrading it, kind of thing. So
yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, because there's times where I won't even plug it in, and then there'll be like an update. So then I just do an update, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's like sweet as. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. So there was that release on Trezor. Didn't really see. I mean, news is pretty sparse. I mean, there's always news coming about FTX. They're in court at the moment, stuff like that. But I don't really bother going too far into it. So I don't really care. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff other going on. Like there's still money being raised in the space. If we have a quick look,
actually, it might have been Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that one.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I can't remember. I saw an article about it, but let me just have a look at. Just you can see the screen now for DeFi Llama. These are the raises like in October. So look, we're only a couple of weeks into October. So wow. Okay, let's go back. So like literally, there's a lot. So accumulated finance, Fountain, which is a brokerage, Blackbird, Parafinance. Now Blackbird like 24 million and Super at 24 million. Like that's a lot of money for Series A. Restaurant loyalty program with NFT and VIP. There you go. Ton.
He thinks of this shit.
Yeah, Convergence RFQ, 2.4 million. Burnt, a layer one, which we talked about last week. Favor, 7 million. Cicada, 9.7 million. Non-custodial crypto lender. Fairblock, 2.5 million. Estonia Labs. So like these are like 3 a day kind of thing, you know. Nextgami, 2 million, a GameFi platform. Neutral, 3.2 million. Exchange for environmental assets. Membrane Labs, 20 million. Like that's a lot. Crypto Prime Broker. So they're, that's a big one. Parsec Finance, 4 million. Untangled Finance, 13.5. Game of Silks, 5 mil. Fantasy horse rating. Oh my god. Yeah, that's just, I can't believe they actually got finance for that. Anything with fantasy, whatever, NFL or horse racing. Oh my god, that's done. I'm going to say that's going to fail right off. They're going to lose all their money. That's my guess. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe it goes well, but I can't see anything doing well with fantasy. I've never seen anything do well with fantasy horse or whatever sports. Yeah. Republic, 6 million Web3 creator platform. Yeah, that one's interesting. Don't know about that 6 million, but see, the money's still flowing in. This is like 12th of October, 7.7 million. Another one, a layer one roll up this year by Binance. So that one might do well. Binance Labs, pre-seed, Initia. Let's have a look at that one. Because Binance, I don't know if you can still see my screen, but let's have a quick look. Initia FDN. Network for 0 to 1 omni-chain roll-ups. Yeah, so you can be sure that this one probably will do well because most stuff out of Binance Labs does well. So you might want to check that one out. That's called Initia.
Launchpad or something.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be through their Launchpad.
Oh yeah, sorry, through that Launchpad. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I might want to check that one out. I can't see the. Yeah, anyway, that's cool. But yeah, so all right, let's close that down.
Initia. Yeah, there's not much on their Twitter. There's not much at all. One post.
No, so it's fairly new. But Binance usually doesn't back stuff unless they've got a pretty good chance. So
yeah. Well, that's it. They want to make.
But there's still money flowing in. It's obviously not like what it was, but there's still money flowing in regularly. So and most of those projects are gonna pan out. They're gonna make a product. Whether they take off after that, who knows? But they're gonna come with a product.
Yeah, they're gonna. Like you're right. There's money still pouring in. It's not like the degree it was, but there's still money coming in. I read somewhere that Alameda Research that they had $1 billion in locked up in some Chinese account, and they bribed some official. This is all coming out now. They bribed a Chinese official to lift that money, and he did, and they gave him 150 million, and they got the money.
So my goodness!
He said, "Yep, I can let him have it or whatever he did." They got the $1 billion out, and they gave him 150 million, and they still
15%.
150 million, dude. That dude got 100 US, but they still got 850 million.
Yeah.
So these guys, they're dodgy as both parties, both dodgy as they're dodgy AF. But it just goes to show you the degree of kind of I don't even know the word that you would use. It's all just really dodgy, man. Really dodgy. But I guess that's how it works at that level. Those officials are all dodgy. Banks are dodgy. Everyone's dodgy. Like they'll do it for you, but you got to pay them. And there's no such thing as laws. The laws don't apply at that level. It's like you pay the money and you get it done. That's just basically how it works. When you're talking billions of dollars. There's no
they'll write the laws for you if there's any problem.
That's it. The laws are just there for us. They're not there for people that are got billions of dollars.
No, they write the rules.
I mean, there was an incident here in Thailand, and I don't know if you remember, but when Red Bull, that actually started in Thailand.
Okay.
It was a guy that came over from, I think he was from Netherlands or something. He came over to Thailand, ran into this thing and drank it and said to the people, what's this drink? And the guy said, it's an energy drink. He's never seen it before. So he went to the owner and said, let's do a deal. And the owner said, okay. So he took the same drink, took it overseas, called it Red Bull. And obviously the rest is history. And obviously this guy who originally owned it is getting royalties. But what happened was his son, it's always the siblings. His son got into a Ferrari. This happened like 5-10 years ago. It's still happening. Like it's 5 years ago that happened. He got drunk. I think he got drunk, and he ran someone over. He ran a policeman over and killed him.
Wow.
Right. So you can imagine the dude's father's like one of the most wealthiest persons in Thailand, and his son's killed his. There's no way around this. There's like, you've got to go. you got to get the F out of Thailand because there's nothing I can do for you. There's
Mm.
only so much money. There's only so much money that you can buy because when it goes public and people start to get really pissed off because, oh, he's got money, his son's going to he'll get off. So apparently his son fled to Dubai or something. And apparently they're not looking for him. So obviously the father, he's obviously got these people, policemen, paying him to do other stuff and not look for his son. So there's no one looking for him. He's just living the dream. Anyway, I thought I'd just share that story. But that's what happens when you're talking at that level.
Crazy.
Yeah, happens everywhere. But it's good to see that crypto still there's still money coming into it.
Apparently, Ferrari is actually now accepting crypto as payment for cars in the US. That came out on the Bloomberg on the 14th of October. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they're a bit behind the times, but hey, they're like,
I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm not going to be buying a Ferrari soon, so I guess it only applies to people that can afford them or can buy them in the US. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm not buying a Ferrari.
They're probably going, hold on, nobody's got any money. Let's get the people who get Bitcoin. They got money. So, let's get them to buy some Ferraris. That's funny. All right, what else has been happening? Has been anything else happening that you came across? Because I know how we get on email lists and we get a lot of information sent to us and that. Have you seen anything worthwhile that you've seen at all come through, or not really?
Not really. I mean, I still get a lot of emails, as you probably do as well. But I mean, some of the stuff's crypto related, some of it's not. So, yeah, I don't know. It's unless you guys really want to, occupy yourselves with, the shit that's happening with FTX and all the other dirt that's happening with crypto, you can. I mean, there's a lot to consume. Like there's the crypto stuff, and then there's the war in Iran, Ukraine, and then now there's this wars happening over in Israel. And I could give you my version of that, but I mean, we're here for a long time. But I just think it's wrong at all in every single way because people are dying and they just don't seem to be wanting to resolve it, which is pretty bad. So there's going to be more deaths, more people dying. Apparently, this is what's going to continue to happen. So I don't know. There's no solution to it. I guess people are making money because every time a bomb explodes, someone dies, but someone's also cashing in.
Yeah,
because someone made that bomb.
I mean, banks have always funded wars. I mean, that's what people don't know about. Banks have always funded both sides of the wars. Even the same arms dealers sell the same arms to both sides to have conflicts. Yeah, it's big business. Big business.
Well, the stuff that's happening in Ukraine now, they're really questioning whether aircraft carriers are now still relevant because of the advancement of missile technology right now and drone technology. And because of the stuff that's happening in Ukraine, they can basically put together a $1,000 FPV drone, put a rocket on it, and then fly it into a tank that costs like $3 million, and hit certain parts of it, and then it'll blow up or make it incapacitated, and then it can they can bring more drones, $500 Mavics, $1,000 Mavics, that drop bombs on it and blow it up. So for $2,000 to $5,000 worth of drones, that can blow up a $3 million tank. So the war's starting to change, and the evolution of war starting to change. And now the US is talking about people are saying aircraft carriers are irrelevant, but what the US is doing is they're still building two aircraft carriers. But here's the thing, right? They're costing them a lot cheaper because now they're getting done for $9 billion instead of $13 billion. But what the US are doing is it connected to build that aircraft carrier. There's like 2,000 US suppliers that supply the
Mhm.
bolts, that supply all the metal work, the electronics. And that actually, they're spending money building this carrier that could be obsolete, but because it's giving jobs, just think about it. Someone's got to
Mm.
create a bolt, and it's coming from the US. So it's actually feeding the economy. So they're spending money on arms, and it's then turning over, feeding the economy, and giving people jobs.
Mm.
So it's a big business war, and it's keeping the economy afloat. So I don't know. It's really fascinating when you look at things like that. Look at it that
Mm.
way.
Apparently, United States Navy has 11 large nuclear-powered fleet carriers, which is pretty wild. But apparently, they have a total of 20 aircraft carriers, but
crazy.
11 are nuclear-powered. So yeah, pretty crazy. But as I think we've mentioned in a previous webinar, we talked about the capacity of the shipbuilding in China. It's literally 100 to 1. So, while United States might build a carrier, China can literally build 100 of them. That is just how crazy the difference is with how big they can build stuff.
Well, they can
Yeah.
build the ships smaller, faster, but not carriers. The carriers, they can still build a carrier fast, but they just don't have the.
I don't know.
they don't
I
have the
actually think they're
technology.
building carriers. That was the thing. I have to find the article, but yeah, no, they were actually building aircraft carriers. I have to find out how many they're building, but I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I'll just check how many. How many?
Yeah, I saw that they're building carriers. They can build them, but they're still going to be behind because by the time they build, it still takes them like 2 or 3 years to build a carrier, and by the time they build one, like America's still got like 11, already got 11, so they're never going to be able to catch up.
All right, so China has 2 active aircraft carriers in at the moment. I'm just seeing if they got any more built. All right, so they got a third one being built, expected service this year. So by the end of this year, they'll have 3. But maybe if they potentially have the ability to do more. But yeah, there you go. So I mean, 11 versus 3. That it's an interesting thing. But when you've got to you go into an area and you dominate that area. Let's say you got an aircraft carrier with all the battalion or whatever of the ships or whatever they call them, and you dominate that area. So no ships can pass, no trade can happen unless you say so, right? That's just pure dominance, and that's what America's had for so long. And until someone actually defeats that or makes it obsolete, it's still force. And I suppose that's how America rules. They just use force. No different when you're walking down the street and there's police in the street, where there's 1 police or where there's 100 police, you might think about twice what you're doing because you can see the consequences. Or if you see, armed forces in the street or whatever, and they've got semi-automatic weapons, you think twice about, doing something irrational. So it's the same thing with, nations. If nations sending ships against aircraft carriers, they've got to think twice because the aircraft carrier can obliterate them and whatever they want to do. So yeah, it's just fascinating, just how important like the Navy and the aircraft on those ships and like nuclear subs. So once that changes, if that ever changes, the tide, and it becomes more dominant with another, a superpower, then they'll actually control more than what maybe the US does now. So it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing is with the US, I think with the missile technology, it could be obsolete. The carriers can be obsolete in the sense that they can be taken down. But what they do is they, like you said, they can block the different routes. And China, if they go into war with United States, they would have a formidable army, but they would just be worn down over time because they don't have the resources. So they need all the resources, oil and stuff that they need from all the different countries. That has to travel by sea. Some of it can go by land, but most of it has to come by sea. And
That's right.
they'll just have a carrier there to block it. And this is the funniest thing that I read. When America brings in a carrier, they've got at least 70 to 100 airplanes on it, right?
Yeah.
And that's more than 95% of nations don't even have that amount of aircraft, right? And they got 11 aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
That just gives you the amount of firepower that they have, that they can just bring into a zone, provided that they're out of reach from the Chinese missiles that they're creating. So why we've been talking about this is because it'll get to a point where once the tide changes and which I think it will be China, gets stronger than the US militarily, the US dollar won't have that strength anymore. It's only there because of America has the military to back it. You know what I mean?
They can carry those 11 carriers can carry 704 aircraft.
See, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's like that's more than the Australian Army.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me look. Let me see how many.
I mean,
planes
China has a lot of planes, but their
planes
aren't as advanced as America. America has the most advanced planes. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, so in Australia, as of October, which is this month, 252 aircraft, 84 are combat aircraft. So the rest are like support.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
80, be handy soon.
84, but they can do 700 with their 11 carriers. So it's just an amazing show of force, and that's why America's always been. So, and China's not quite there yet. Obviously they got billion foot people, soldiers, whatever, and missiles and all sorts of other stuff, but
all they're going to do is, if they want to build another carrier, just give them another bowl of rice. Give them 2 bowls of rice. They're going to get 10,000 workers knocking on the door. Instead of doing a bowl of rice, they're going to do 2 bowls of rice. How quick do you think that carrier is going to be built?
Yeah.
Pretty freaking quick. They give them 2 bowls of rice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. They probably need to build some more, but who knows? But yeah, I don't know. They'd have to sell to China. Would literally have to sell to other countries other than the US, and I imagine that the US probably imports a bunch into China. Importing, because all the consumers buy stuff from China. So if any type of event happened, I would suspect that they would just stop outright buying from China, which would be catastrophic.
I just really don't see them. That would be the dumbest move that Xi Jinping has ever made, is to go to war with the US, because they're literally just going to be cut off with all their exports. Think about Temu. Yeah, all those people that are buying in the US and buying in Australia through Temu, that app's going to be obsolete because of no one's going to be buying from China. It all comes from China. So that's going to really hurt that business, even though it's cheap as hell now to buy shit from them.
I'll give you an idea of the imports that come into USA. In 2022, so that was last year, USA imported $575.69 billion worth of goods from China. And in 2020, 2 years earlier, it was like 450 billion. So it is increasing what we're getting from China, and that's not to be sneezed at. So that's a lot of money that they're importing, mainly electrical machinery, surprisingly nuclear reactors, boilers, processed fruit and vegetable, fruit preparations, and textiles. That's what they mainly take from China. So yeah, that's a lot of money that they would be cutting themselves off with.
Oh yeah, they'd be silly. The war would be silly for China. That would be very, very silly. Yeah. Anyway, we've got a lot to think about, I guess. I mean, all this stuff that's happening overseas, I mean, it's out of our control. It's just something to think about and the thought in the back of your mind because it's not really going to really impact us personally. But on the whole grand scheme of things, it probably will. Obviously, with all the shit that's happening. But we've got our little niche. We've got our little crypto. We've got our little bags of Bitcoin that we kind of do ourselves. So I reckon they should just leave us alone, and they should just not worry about us and get more people involved in Bitcoin, and price of Bitcoin can go up, and they can just leave us alone. We'll be in our own little world, and our Bitcoin's going to go higher and higher. That's what I reckon they should do.
Yeah. Well, I think it's inevitable. Like, I think it's just purely adoption, and like in Australia, in the rural areas, there's 1,500, potentially 1,500 bank branches that are going to close in the near future because banks are like, no, we're not going to offer services out in these sticks, anymore to these small little towns. No, stuff it. We'll just close it down.
Yeah.
And then all the businesses that deal in cash, like, oh, how are we going to bank? How are we going to put our money in the bank? So, yeah, this is where Bitcoin would be great if they could see some adoption and people had little QR codes and they could just transfer Bitcoin. And at the moment, Bitcoin's pretty stable in price. I can say it's probably better than a lot of other things. So yeah, these are the sort of things that I would like to see because what will happen as soon as these banks start closing, it'll be so hard to get cash. It is so hard to get cash now. No one pays cash. The banks don't give out. They've taken out billions out of cash out of circulation. When you actually see cash, it's quite amazing. It's like, oh wow, that's what it looks like. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. And with the banks closing and the more of it taken out of circulation, the pressure's going to be on there for it. So, all right, what do we got? What are we looking at here?
So this is the global adoption, as in 2025, the adoption index, top 20 countries.
Oh,
it's
okay.
India. I didn't know that. It's India.
Really? So
Yep.
India has adopted it more than any other. Oh, and look, Nigeria. Second.
Yeah.
You talked
I
about
knew that.
Nigeria.
I knew Nigeria because Nigeria's got like a gazillion people. So they're really
and they've all got
crypto
mobile
friendly.
phones. And
Yep.
yeah.
Nam,
Vietnam.
Nam's very prevalent with crypto. They've always been that. United States, Ukraine. So Ukraine, that's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Philippines, Indonesia, Pakistan, Brazil, Thailand. Wow, Thailand's pretty they're pretty crypto savvy here, I will admit.
Yep.
And then China, well, not so much China, but because they're just kind of reforming everything. Turkey, Russia, United Kingdom, and
Australia's not even on the list at the moment.
No, they're not.
Didn't see Australia there.
No,
because they just don't. We're so backward here. So backward.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I can't believe you guys don't have that banking stuff. I can't believe
the QR code stuff that you were telling us about.
Yeah, I can pay you, right? Right now, if I was to give you money, I can't do it. I can do it, but I've got to log into my account or I can log into my banking app. I can look up Garth and I can get your BSB. That's how you do it, right? Get your BSB.
You got, at the moment, there's always been BSB, right? Which is the old school way of doing it. The latest thing, well, maybe not the latest, but the thing that's been around for at least a few years has been Pay ID. And once you create Pay ID, you either have an email or a mobile or both or whatever. And what happens is you just you go into your banking app and you go Pay ID, you put the person's email or phone number in, kind of like PayPal, and it will actually bank transfer that money to them pretty straight away. And I think they've actually come up with some other stuff recently, but it's I don't know that many people that use it, to be honest. Yeah, that's right, with Osco. Yeah, so that's right. It is instant, and some people do use it, but it's not like what you described. So describe to me, NG, what you said when you're doing transactions and using the QR code. How's that work?
Well, I can go down the road and there could be someone selling their vegetables,
Mhm.
someone selling their coffee or the
Yep.
banana, fried bananas, whatever, right? 95% of the time, those people that are on the side of the road selling their produce, they've got a freaking QR code. So what I do is I tell them, like, because I don't speak Thai, I just tell them, you scan. I just show them my mobile phone, and I say, do you scan? And they'll go, yeah. So what they do is they go into their banking app. They've got a QR code. Then I scan it, like just like I would do with scanning with a QR code. I can get their bank details immediately, and then it'll just show up, and then I can just type in the number, 100 baht, 50 baht,
Yep.
whatever. I can click, boom, and they'll instantly get that money, and I can instantly take the goods with me.
Wow.
But it's so
Yeah.
simple because all I got to do is just log in, click this scan thing, just like a normal QR code reader, and
Mhm.
it's instantly boom, and they can just got their thing, and they can just show their QR code. So their ID is got a QR code in the banking, and they're both connected.
Yep.
So I can just go boom, boom,
Yep.
and they'll just get it.
Well, I haven't seen any QR codes in any of our banking at all. I mean, there might be some, but yeah, it's not like Cash App. Yeah, well, I actually haven't even used the Cash App because I don't think it was even available for Australia or something. I went to try and get it, and I think it was only available in the US from memory. So I haven't actually tried that, so I can't say. But yeah, it's, I don't know. This is where the adoption part takes place. So if, someone comes out with QR codes and it just makes it simple. I suppose this is where Lightning, but it just hasn't reached the mainstream. Like, everyone that buys and sells at a market, sure, cash is there, but otherwise they got like they might use Square terminal, right? They use their phone Square, or they use a Square terminal, and they just accept money into the bank account that way with credit cards and tap and go and stuff like that. All your retail places have got their POS systems, which handle all cards, and yeah, when they go down, they can't take any money. They literally shut up shop, and same with the other guys. But the thing about it is, with Bitcoin and this type of thing, there's no shut up shop. It just works because the network has to work. It'd have to take all. I don't know. It'd have to be, the only reason it couldn't work is maybe the transactions were clogged up like they were in the past. I don't know. Maybe there was an issue with the miners or something, but yeah, most of the time the transactions go through.
I mean, the technology is already here. With Bitcoin, it's already here. You can use Wallet of Satoshi, or you can use Bitcoin Beach. There's a few others, and what's the name? What's the name is building an app now to basically do the same with Bitcoin Lightning on top. But the technology is there just now. It just comes down to adoption. So if you get a Wallet of Satoshi, I mean, I haven't used this for a long time, but it's got like $3 in there, 8,882 Satoshi.
Yeah.
Right. I can just go like that, and I can just go send.
Mm-hmm.
See how basic that is? Send and receive. That's all you need to know.
A QR code. Yeah, and the person could be right in front of you or on a screen.
So you can see there. You can see that little QR thing and scan it. It's as simple, and that's how basic this thing is, but it works. And if someone wants to receive, there's my QR code.
Yeah.
They can just
now, I think what would be handy is if they had live feed to what the value of that Bitcoin is at that time, because the problem is we're still dealing in fiat, and even though you can do the Satoshis, people need to know how much that is in fiat. So I don't know if that has some sort of way to enable that. I haven't been in it recently, but it's literally got to be simple, and it's got to be an app that everyone has. And the moment we're forced to have banking apps and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of time when you have an app that you can, do Bitcoin or whatever, Bitcoin Lightning, whatever. And who knows, maybe the banks will come out with it. Maybe the banks will come out with the whole Bitcoin Lightning thing. They'll charge a fee on it, right? So you'll use your money and you'll put the money into an account, you'll transfer it, and automatically it becomes into Bitcoin Lightning, right? And when they do the transaction, they make a cut when they convert it, and then every transaction you make, they'll make a cut as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens with the banks. Like, they'll just take over the whole Bitcoin. Yeah, we've got Square. I mean, I love Square. Don't get me wrong. I love Square. I've got Square multiples. I think we've got 2 different accounts with Square. It just works. And there is a couple of other competitors, but they just haven't taken off like Square has. Like, Square sort of, I think what happened was all the banks just said, nah, we don't care about small businesses. And Square just come along and went, we do. And everyone just went on to Square. And now banks are having a hard time to get people to get back to them because Square just provides so many services. But yeah, maybe Square should come out with like Lightning. Now, I don't know, maybe they did it in the US or something, but I would really like for Square to have, Bitcoin adoption, because it'd be just another payment method in there, and it'd be great. So yeah, I think it'd be helpful.
Yeah, well, we're a long ways off with Bitcoin adoption. We're a long ways off. So I think personally, the growth's going to come from Africa. That's where my opinion. Once those Africans they get out of their mud huts and they're now upgrade to like a freaking modern house, and they will, because that's exactly what happened in China. Probably take another 20 or 30 years. Yeah, which is going to be a long time, but they're going to have expendable cash and they're going to be buying Bitcoin, or they're buying it now. But the wealthier that they get, because there's a shitload of people over there, then it's going to be more. They're going to have this middle class with a shitload of cash. That's exactly what happened in China, and they're going to be tech savvy and they're going to be putting their money in Bitcoin, even though they're doing it now. The Africans, man, they I would say they're more tech savvy than some of the people in Australia, because they know how to use all these apps and they know how to use all this fucking Bitcoin stuff, and they just know, right? They know how to do TikTok. It's just, they're right into it. So I think that's where the growth's going to come from, Africa. So the thing with the crypto, it's going to take us a while, but I think we're at all right, prediction time before we go. 100K Bitcoin. What do you reckon? What's your prediction?
I don't know. I mean, I really thought we were going to be at 100K this year, but I think what's got to happen is that the Fed has got to keep printing money. That's what I think is got to happen, because they were printing money when we saw the price go up. So I'm just going to say that while they're printing money, it's going to go up. Now, they have been printing money right now and nothing's happened. But if they keep printing money over the course of this year, it's going to be an inevitable that Bitcoin has to go up. That's my prediction. So I'm going to say another 12 months, 100K.
I want to say, it just changes all the time, because these predictions, they're never going to be the right. So, yeah, it's always good to have a bit of fun. Yeah. Based off right now, everything's happening right now. That's all kind of like, that's the only time that's the only thing that we got, right, is what's happening now. So we try to predict the future. 2025, at this point, I don't see it going next year, 2024. There's too much shit happening.
Mm-hmm.
But, stranger things have happened. But could happen sooner would be nice. But because we're talking like a 3x, 3 to 4x potentially. But right now, the way it is, the world it is, the wars, I don't see Ukraine going. I don't think that war is going to stop for a long time. And now this war with Israel, that could stop soon. But there's so much shit happening. I reckon at least in the way that the economy is going at the moment, that's got to flip. So, yeah, 2025, if we're lucky at this point in time.
Cool.
We'll see how it goes.
We will.
But one thing that we won't get is these bullshit bloody predictions that are miraculously he was right when he said it, was Alex Murczynski when he was talking about, I call the Bitcoin bull run and all this sort of bullshit. He was way off. Yet he was there saying, I was right, I called it. And, I think he said it was like, a month off. And we believed that clown. He was just there to milk us, so hope he rots in jail. Anyway, with that said, next to his mate, Sam Bankman-Fried, when they get bummed up the rear. by some ex investor that's now in jail, right? So now he's gone to jail. Now he runs into Alex Masinski and Sam Bankman-Fried. I said, I used to be an investor. Yeah, really? Well, guess what? You're going to bend over now, boy. It would that be funny, right? You know, all these ex-investors are all in jail now because of whatever they do. It's funny as shit.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, that would be funny. That would make the headlines. Anyway, mate, have a good week.
Yeah, will do.
Feedback is a bitch. And yeah, we'll probably see you guys next week, eh?
All right. Thanks for joining us, OJF. Appreciate that, mate.
See you guys.
See you guys.
No
Bye.
doubt we'll probably see more of you soon. So 2025, let's pray for that. See you guys.